morning, America. I'm Gene Bailey, and you're watching Flashpoint. Glad you're with us tonight. Another week. It's a big week, America. Listen, we've got a lot going on, and tomorrow night is a crucial election. I want to say right here, no matter what you're doing, tomorrow night you need to tune in to the Flashpoint Television Network, all of our affiliates, as well as Daystar, Victory, and Gospel Truth Network, several networks. Just go to the website. You can find out how to watch us. However you're watching us right now, we will be on tomorrow night following the elections. My people that will be with me will be none other than our good friend David and Tim Barton. Lance Wallnow will be there, Rick Green, Hank Kuhneman, and a lot of other folks. Cheyon will be in studio with us, talking about what's going on in California. So we've got a lot planned for tomorrow night. We'd love to have you join us. So that starts tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 to 9 Central. Make sure you join us. Let me welcome my panel to start us off tonight. Dutch Sheets, Seth Gruber, Ed Rush, and we've got a new guy on here. He's not really new, but please welcome our friend from CBN, Gordon Robertson. Gordon, good to see you. Glad you're able to join us. Now, you just came from Winsome Sears rally, I heard.
Yeah, it was Winsome, Jason Miaras, and John Reed, and we were all over at the Regent University Theater. Winsome wanted to end her campaign at Regent, where she got a degree. It was great to be with her. The mayor of Virginia Beach is also a Regent grad, and then Bob McDonnell was there. He's a Regent grad. So it was quite a night. And I encourage them, let's make history. If Winsome Sears is elected tomorrow, it will be the first African-American woman in the history of the United States to ever be elected governor. So that is a significant moment. Let's make history.
Yeah, let's make history.
Yeah. So
tell me, what's the feeling? All of my friends that live in Virginia tell me it is absolutely inundated with Spamberger, has spent millions and millions of dollars in promotion. What's it like there, the feeling? Of course, I know at Regent it's going to partly be different than anywhere else, but if you had to make a prediction about tomorrow, what do you think is going to happen?
I think it's too tough to call just because the polling data is all over the place. And you look at sort of modern polling, and most people have phones where they can choose not to answer if it's an unidentified phone number. And with the rise of all of the spam phone calls, most people turn it off. So if you're dealing with phone data, it's very suspect. But I do think it'll be based entirely on turnout. When Youngkin won, he's a Republican governor. There was a huge turnout in Loudoun County. He didn't win, but he narrowed the loss. Virginia's changed politically, where Northern Virginia is now Democrat. Richmond has traditionally been Democrat, and then Portsmouth, Newport News. And so those are major city populations. So if you can carry Virginia Beach and Chesapeake, and especially Southwest Virginia, if you can carry that and have a large turnout, we could see significant. The race that is just baffling my mind is the Attorney General, where you have a Democrat who's advocated for the assassination of a Republican Speaker of the House, then advocated for his wife. And I've got to mention, I've got skin in this game. She's a reporter for CBN News in our Washington, D.C. bureau, and then her two children. So normally that would disqualify you as a candidate when you say, I want to assassinate a political opponent. But this race in politics has just been turned upside down.
It sure has. Definitely been turned upside down. It's definitely one we're watching, so we'll cover that right off the bat tomorrow night. All right, but Gordon, you're here for another reason. We're talking about this new film, Oracles of God. Let me play the trailer. Watch.
Many people have set out to write accounts about the events that have been fulfilled among us. We did not follow cleverly devised stories, but we were eyewitnesses of His Majesty.
The Gospels in the 2nd century were called the Apostolic Memoirs. Jesus remembered.
Drink this and remember me.
There was urgency. We need to get these traditions down before we lose the eyewitness accounts.
Little girl, arise. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God.
John is written by a variety of people.
This may be the only one that's a genuine eyewitness testimony.
There is evidence that more than one person contributes to the letter.
Now, what are the internal clues as to who this person is?
Only God knows. And He's not telling.
Is it you?
Why do you ask me about Jesus, the Son of God?
Take him away!
Why would anyone make it up?
Certainly one of the most neglected but most important women in the New Testament shows up in Romans 16.
This letter is from Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ.
Who is she?
Christianity did not begin in a lie, and we can and we must demonstrate this.
Oracles of God, story of the New Testament. Gordon, why did CBN Films decide to do another documentary on the Bible?
Well, it all started actually all the way back in 2017. Aaron Zimmerman, the writer and director, producer, the force behind most of the films from CBN Films, she was in a time of prayer, and God impressed upon her that she needed to devote her life to this. It certainly has been 9 years in the making, and not all Aaron's fault. There was this pandemic that interfered, and then there was a war that interfered. Literally the day that was scheduled was October 9th, 2 years ago, to start filming, and October 7th, most of the production crew got called up into the IDF. It's all shot on location in Israel. We wanted to make it as accurate as possible so people really can get the idea that you can trust the New Testament and that the entire canon of Scripture was recognized by the early church well within the first century. You know, the idea was let's defend the Bible and defend the accuracy and the eyewitness accounts of the New Testament. In part because it seemed to be popular in America to question it, right, and question, is this book really inspired by God? Were these really eyewitness accounts? And, the number of critiques of the one that really got my attention was Dan Brown with the Da Vinci Code. I went to see that movie, and in the middle of it, I'm getting upset that even his art history isn't right, let alone his theology. But as this crazy postulate was coming out of one of the movie characters, the couple sitting right in front of me, they turned to each other and said, yes, that's right. I just wanted to scream, no, that's completely wrong. There's no evidence for this claim at all. The Bible is true. These are eyewitness accounts. Jesus didn't have a secret marriage to Mary Magdalene. All of that is nonsense.
It is nonsense.
But it seemed to have taken over our culture. Aaron likes to say that, in the timing of God, it was actually perfect that here we're in the middle of this great Gen Z revival. And who's leading that revival? Well, young men. And the Bible is once again becoming a best-selling book, up over 20% in sales last year, over 30% in sales this year. It seems like people are very interested in, in reading the Bible again. And so I wanted to have this statement film. You can trust this. This really did happen. These really are eyewitness accounts. And the earliest manuscripts, it's all universally acknowledged by archaeologists and theologians. It all dates to the 1st century.
So with this film, and the timing is amazing, especially with the Charlie Kirk assassination and this renewed interest in the Bible. But what is it that you want people to experience or gain, other than the truth? What does he want them to take from watching Oracles of God?
That this was a living story, that the people that wrote it really lived and really experienced these things, that it was coordinated by the Holy Spirit in the ways that only God can do. And from that, you can trust those words, the words that have inspired us, the words that have been the foundation of our civilization. It's not popular in today's woke world to talk about Western civilization. Right. Western civilization was built on the Bible. And regardless of what denomination of Christian you are, that's the bedrock, that all of our laws, all of our customs, our very English language built on the King James Version of the Bible, these things are bedrocks. And I want to really impress upon people that bedrock is a firm foundation. These are eyewitness accounts. They all agree Jesus rose from the dead. He separated BC from AD. This is the most singular thing that has ever happened to humanity, and you can trust it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, all right, so where can we watch this film?
It's in theaters nationwide. You can go to cbn.com/oracles of God, or /tickets is another way. And you can buy tickets on that. We have a special Oracles of God website where they can go, and the ticket will give, that ticket/tickets will give you the information of where in your locality. But we're now in over 900 theaters, so it's nationwide. With just one day on Sunday, we didn't have a Friday or Saturday opening, but with that one day, it's in the top 12 weekend grossing films in America. So people are coming out to see it. I'm getting reports from right here in Virginia Beach that the Town Center Theater was packed. There may have been 10 seats vacant, but the audiences are loving it. The reports we're getting back are very encouraging. And it's doing what I intended and what was the original vision given to Aaron Zimmerman, that we need to get out there with a film that defends the authenticity of the Bible, the accuracy of the Bible, and that the Bible is absolutely reliable. That message is getting through to the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the Oracles of God, go see it at the theater. Go to cbn.com/tickets, find out how you can get that ability. All right, let me get Dutch to weigh in here. Dutch, how important, I mean, this is a softball question, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Why is it so important for us to go see films like this?
You know, the scripture that came to me very strongly while Gordon was speaking was the verse in Jude. It says, contend earnestly for the faith. And you don't contend for the faith in church or in the four walls. I think this is just an incredibly wonderful example of that verse of scripture. Take the gospel, take truth outside the four walls. I think it started in the 70s, maybe 80s, moving it outside. One of the people that I think started it was Gordon's dad, Pat Robertson. Right. Then there's Bill Bright and Lauren Cunningham and Demas Shakarian, some of these people that started taking the movement of truth, of the gospel outside the four walls of the church. And now we're reaping the benefit of that. This is incredible. This is wonderful. It's going to make a difference.
It is going to make a difference. In fact, it's just a different way to, here, watch this, Gordon, shout it from the housetops.
That's a good one, G. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank Gordon. Thank you.
That was the initial inspiration for CBN, that God told my father, I want you to take the airwaves back from the prince of the power of the air. And the very first Christian television station in the history of America, in the history of the world, all the way back in 1961. So I wish we could declare the battle won, but clearly it's not. And clearly every generation has to do its part to shout it from the housetops.
Amen. We do. Gordon, thank you. Thank you for coming on Flashpoint.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be with you, Jim.
Thank you so much. All right, let's turn our attention to what's going on in Israel. Watch this. Hamas surrenders 3 more bodies. Here's the clip.
Hamas returned the bodies of 3 hostages Sunday evening, including American-Israeli tank commander Captain Omer Nutra, Staff Sergeant Oz Daniel, a member of his tank crew, and Colonel Asaf Hamami, who served as a commander of the Southern Brigade Gaza Division.
We got Nutra, from New York and from the United States, and I spoke to his parents. And they're thrilled in one sense, but in another sense, obviously, it's not too great. But we're very happy to have done it.
The return comes after Hamas delivered 3 bodies on Friday that turned out not to be hostages. 8 hostage bodies still remain in Gaza, including 1 American. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel is working to eliminate pockets of Hamas terrorists in areas under Israeli control.
The entire issue of risk to our forces, my directive is unequivocal. If there is an attempt to harm our forces, we will strike those who attack and their organization to protect our forces. We are determined about it.
Netanyahu says that while Israel does report to its American friends, they don't ask permission.
Dismantling and demilitarizing Hamas, disarming Hamas, demilitarizing the Gaza Strip. This is the principle we adhere to. This is what we agreed upon between me and President Trump. And this is how we operate in a clear framework. And of course, if this is not done in one way, then it will be done in another way.
In an interview with CBS 60 Minutes, President Trump said the Gaza ceasefire is very solid.
I mean, you hear about Hamas, but Hamas could be taken out immediately if they don't behave. They know that. If they don't behave, they're going to be taken out immediately. If I want them to disarm, I'll get them to disarm very quickly. They'll be eliminated. They know that.
They know that. Seth, let me get you to weigh in here. What do you think?
Well, Gene, I'm not going to pretend that this is my area of expertise, but as the only functioning democracy in the Middle East, of course, I'm pro-Israel. I'd much rather protect the Holy Land and people who will let Christians preach the gospel and take American Christians to see where our Savior walked than being taken over by pedophilic, Christian murdering Islamist terrorists. And I've been horrified at watching just the heartbreaking division in the whole territory.
I agree. And I think you echo the thoughts of people watching the program tonight. Any American with any sense agrees with you. Ed, Rush, weigh in here.
Yeah, Gene. So first of all, I think it actually connects to our last story like perfectly. You know, when Gordon brought the show on, the movie on, it shows the importance of taking arguments and taking thoughts captive. I think it's 2 Corinthians 10:5 talks about demolishing arguments and taking thoughts captive. And this ceasefire, which we talked about just a couple weeks ago, was set in motion, interestingly enough, not because of the Democratic pressure in the area, but because of the Muslim pressure. The nations of the Middle East largely abandoned Hamas and Iran and just said, look, like, we're going to go do our deal and we're going to think a little bit differently. And that has to do with our encouraging them to think differently. So you put together a different way of thinking and you put together power. And I think this deal was made in a really good way. And I think, like I said, Hamas was left on an island. I think this hopefully will diminish the rise of Islamic terror in the area, certainly allow for peace in Israel and for what we would hope would be a consolidation of that area so that there could be, some further gains. But I mean, I credit the president. I did a few weeks ago too. I'm surprised that actually that it's held this fast for this long. And I think what we saw today was a real good move, actually, from both sides to solidify that peace. So it looks like things are heading in the right direction.
Yeah, Dutch, I want you to talk about this because watching the news stories about this, I am wondering if they actually know where all the bodies really are. They don't come across as being a highly organized on that part of this. They may not even know where everybody is. What do you think?
Well, I think that's very likely. I mean, the fact that they've sent bodies back to Israel, or not back, but to Israel that weren't who they said they were, lets me know they don't know where all these people are. They're just trying to come up with a body to send. They would have to know by now. They're going to check and verify it. But no, I don't think they know where they are. I don't know what the outcome of that will be when they don't return all of them. I have a sense, Gene, I don't know if this is right. I'm not saying it's a prophecy, but I have a sense that Trump and Israel are waiting for this process to be over. And then there's some further action they're going to take. I don't know what that is, but they are not going to allow Hamas to stay in power. So let's get all the people back. Let's get all the bodies back. And then they're going to do something to disarm or take out this terrorist network. Again, I don't know what it is. Sure. I just have this sense in my spirit, something is coming when this process is over.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we all think you're right. It just doesn't seem like it's over. All right, let me move to what's going on in Venezuela. President Trump did a 60 Minutes interview about Maduro, saying his days are numbered. Watch.
The commander-in-chief has directed the U.S. military to destroy at least 9 vessels in the waters off Venezuela, killing more than 36 alleged drug smugglers. U.S. lawmakers, including at least 4 Republicans, have questioned the strike's legality. In the meantime, F-35 fighter jets, roughly 10,000 U.S. service members, and multiple warships are in the Caribbean.
And now the USS Gerald Ford, that is the world's largest aircraft carrier, on the way to the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. Are we going to war against Venezuela?
I doubt it. I don't think so, but they've been treating us very badly, not only on drugs. They've dumped hundreds of thousands of people into our country that we didn't want. People from prisons, they emptied their prisons into our country. They also, if you take a look, they emptied their mental institutions and their insane asylums into the United States of America because Joe Biden was the worst president in the history of our country.
Are Maduro's days as president numbered?
I would say, yeah. I think so, yeah.
And this issue of potential land strikes in Venezuela, is that true?
I don't tell you that. I mean, I'm not saying it's true or untrue, but I wouldn't.
Why would we
I wouldn't
do
be
it?
inclined to say that I would do that, but because I don't talk to a reporter about whether or not I'm going to strike.
Where he's going to strike. Come on, Ed. Don't be asking stupid questions. What do you think?
I still have goosebumps. Did you see those jets? Did you see those jets on the aircraft carrier? Those are F-35s, baby. And I think the ones we were looking at were F-35 Bs, which are the Marine variant that take off vertically and land vertically. Why the Marine Corps decided to be in the vertical landing business, I have no idea. But I still have goosebumps looking at those jets, Gene. And if you're watching Flashpoint Army and you didn't get goosebumps, check your goosebumper because maybe it's not working properly. I'll just look at you in the eye and say you don't know fear until you look out on the horizon and you see a carrier battle group coming your way. And I mean that when I say that. When we put ships in the water and we put airplanes in the sky, countries tremble. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that to be prideful about our country. I'm just saying there is something in our world called power projection. And when you're on the other end of power projection, it makes you nervous. And so the idea of what we're doing in the Caribbean right now and around Venezuela is called power projection. I will just tell you, for those of you who are watching ships get hit in attacks, I've seen video footage. I've seen imagery. I certainly have not seen top secret or classified material, but I can tell you that our military and our DOD has fabulous, phenomenal intelligence. I can tell you without a doubt, they knew where those boats came from, where they were going. They knew what they were carrying. Our intelligence is very good. So don't be led astray on, a Twitter argument about those things. I think we're hitting real targets that are carrying real drugs into our country. And as a person who has lost 2, not 1, but 2 of my siblings to drug fentanyl overdoses, I have dog in this fight. I think what the president's doing, what the president needs to do. And the truth is, he mentioned our previous president, what our previous president didn't do, which is to project power in the world. There's nothing better than holding your stance up simply by projecting power. I think he's right about the Venezuelan president, by the way. I think you can't get power projected that way and not actually get taken out of power, which I think will happen sooner than later, frankly.
I sure hope so. We need to see that happen. In fact, let's go. I think we're going to create a whole segment on Flashpoint, and it's going to be, what does Senator John Kennedy say about it? Here's the good senator. Watch.
In a letter that was meant for eyes of the Russian leader Putin, Nicolas Maduro, the Venezuelan president, made multiple requests asking for defensive radar, military aircraft repairs, and potentially missiles, according to U.S. government documents that were obtained by the Washington Post. The Venezuelan government, according to these documents, is also reaching out to China and Iran, sourcing military assistance and equipment to strengthen Venezuela's defenses. What does that signal to you about where this may head, potentially, Senator?
Well, Mr. Maduro, who has seized control of Venezuela, is a terrorist himself. He has blood stains under his fingernails. He's not there by popular support. In fact, he has a cartel full of narco-terrorists of his own, and he's scared. And I'm glad he's scared. He's scared that he's going to be attacked. And yes, he's supported right now by Cuba. I'm sure he is talking to America's enemies, China, for example, Russia. But he's just as much at fault as some of these people driving the boats with the drugs in them.
Or what do you think? I'll go to you, Dutch. You first up here.
Well, I think we just heard Trump minutes ago speak softly and carry a big stick. And I think most of us are glad anytime you have a country, a leader that's responsible for sending into our nation something that's killing tens of thousands of Americans every year, we need to deal with it. When we know those boats are carrying drugs, take them out. That's what I feel. And Maduro, as far as him speaking tough and asking for military support, if he was smart, he would do what a little puppy dog does when the big master dog shows up. He lays down and rolls over on his back and says, I submit. This guy ought to keep his mouth shut and quit talking big, because he's just making his own bed, and it's not a good one. Trump is not going to put up with this guy much longer.
I think you're right. Seth, what do you think? The big dog, small dog?
The only thing I like about that guy is his last name, because it makes me think of a cigar, and I would really like to have a cigar right now talking about all this evil stuff with you guys. But I have no more patience for the American leftist politicians who make mountains out of molehills and smear and malign any run-of-the-mill normal American realist who simply wants to protect their own country. I'm so sick of this debate. Xenophobic, racist, da, 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 da. Like, literally, Obama and Clinton deported 2, 3, or 4 times as many illegal aliens during their term as president than Trump has in 4 years and 1/4 of a term. Like, if you want to understand if someone's a hypocrite or not, whether what hole they're speaking out of, just examine their selective outrage. That is like a great sort of political lens or tool for normie Americans or patriots who just love Jesus, love family, love their country, want to protect it, but they're not like political pundits, is just look at, are you as outraged on stuff that comes from the own side of your aisle as you are when it allegedly is coming from the other side of the aisle? Like, just go do the fact checking. The amount of illegal aliens and criminals that Clinton and Obama deported is insane. It makes Trump look like he's playing nice with illegal immigrants in America. The numbers pale in comparison. So for the basic American who's like, get these illegal aliens and criminals and drug traffickers out of my country, to watch the American left and the Democrat Party clutch their pearls and be like, we're a melting pot. That's what made America great. Like, shut up. Shut up. You had nothing to say when your favorite presidents were deporting 3, 4, 5 times as many people. I'm over it, Gene.
Do you have pearls? I'm asking. You said clutching your pearls, and I'm like,
metaphorical pearls to cast before swine.
Yes.
Probably.
I think we're going to take a break now. We're going to don't forget it. Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to talk about elections and much more. We'll see you on the other side.
When you show up in Flashpoint gear, you're more than a fan. You're part of the Army. Rep the voices you trust and the truth you believe in.
FlashpointStore.com has new merchandise.
Gear that sparks a conversation. Let the world know you're standing strong, always to the right of center.
Make sure you wear Flashpoint. Always show your colors.
Shop the collection now with FlashpointStore.com. Don't just blend in. Stand out. Be part of the Army. On November 4th, America decides her future. Join Gene Bailey and the Flashpoint team for Election Night in America. As the votes are counted, we'll bring you real-time results, prophetic commentary, and faith-based perspective on what's unfolding in our nation. While leaders may change, God's hand will never leave this great nation. It all happens Tuesday, November 4th, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. Find out where to watch at fparmy.com/media. There's never been a more important time to be bold and speak truth. Flashpoint is answering the call. There's no shortage of vision, and it's time to impact culture in every way we can. And we can't do it without you.
We must do more. We can't just sit back and wait. That's why your gift makes such a difference here at Flashpoint.
Your giving fuels everything we are doing here at Flashpoint. We're here to equip, activate, and disciple. And your support makes this possible. Flashpoint is a 501c3, and your tax-deductible donation goes directly to the mission. Give at fparmy.com/donate or text FLASH to 28950. It's secure, quick, and makes an impact. If mailing your donation, send it to Flashpoint, P.O. Box 1, Newark, Texas, 76071. Stand with us. Speak truth. Be the light. This is Flashpoint.
Welcome back to the second half. Flashpoint, we're still waiting for our friend here, Seth Gruber, to admit if he has pearls or not. But nevertheless, we'll just keep moving along. I want to introduce you to somebody that I met this past week. Just 34 years old, Cliff Maloney's been called the godfather of door knocking. I bet you didn't have that title. His deployments knocked over 8 million doors and delivered victories in over 418 elections across America. In 2024, he founded PA Chase, hiring a whole lot of door knockers, knocking on 510,000 doors, and increased Trump's share of the PA, Pennsylvania mail-in vote from 20 to 34.5%. I think Flashpoint did the majority of the work there, but we're going to give Cliff some credit. Cliff, welcome to the show. Good to have you here. Are you like okay? You're like you're in an exam room or something at the hospital. You all right?
I'm doing well, Gene. Pleasure to be here. You know, it's funny. Whenever we're at our headquarters, we spend all of our money on knocking doors, right? So we don't have the best setup, but honored to get to talk to the audience here. You guys are patriots, and you know, we always get so many different orgs or shows, but you guys, I mean, what you guys do and the whole Army out there, honored to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you, and good to have you. And you know, it's good to have you, Cliff, even though I'm here in Dallas, Texas.
I knew I had to wear the hat. I mean,
and you're wearing that hat. All right.
I had to wear it on.
It's all right. All right. So let's talk about the Jay Jones, the Virginia vote. I want to get your take on what's happening there.
Yeah, look, I think Virginia, I mean, if you really have somebody that is threatening to put a bullet in your political opponent's kid's head, I mean, that to me is just the fact that he's even still in this race. It just shows, you know, kind of how serious the Democrats are about one thing, power, right? Any decent person, I mean, heck, 10 years ago, right, this person would have been forced to drop out because normal folks from all parties would have said, hey, this person should not be running. So I still think Jay Jones loses. I think the governor's race and lieutenant governor's race are going to be battles down to the wire. Obviously, I'd love to see the Republicans win, but Virginia is it's a tough place.
It is a tough place. Okay, before I go any further to the next question, let me go back. I got ahead of myself and show you at home what Cliff's team really does. Watch.
All right, everybody, we're here. Knocked a bunch of doors today. Team is out there crushing it. Been a grind, a lot of time on the ground. All credit goes to the door knockers, speaking events and doing media to kind of raise awareness about what it is that we're doing to build the red wall right here in Pennsylvania. But what better opportunity than get to take your home state and make it the reason that we fix the path to the White House for those that actually believe in freedom. When you're doing these door knocking programs, you need three things. You need a candidate to support, you need door knockers, obviously, and then you need money. You can find candidates. We've got a great pipeline in the process to recruit door knockers. The problem is the money. And the establishment and the corrupt folks on the left. What do I have to do? Create a solution, which is go and meet with patriots around the country. And what do they expect from me? There's no political favors. They just want to save the country. They want to back the Constitution, civil liberties. They want freedom candidates to win. If there's a problem, you got to create a solution. The solution is bang down the door, get in there, meet with high net worth individuals, and convince them that fighting for liberty by sponsoring a door knocker and winning these elections is the path to saving the country.
All right, doors win wars. That's great. You know, I want to, Cliff, you guys, I'm astounded at the success you've had. It's been great. So we're looking forward to working Flashpoint with you next year as we get into the midterms. We're going to rally together and combine our team with your team. And so those of you Flashpoint Army are watching, this is how we're going to help. And how can people, first off, before I get to some of these other questions, how can people get in touch with you and what you're doing if they want to volunteer or be a help?
Yeah, on X at Maloney. But right now we got two hot fights that most people are following, obviously, the New Jersey governor's race. So we do have a New Jersey chase program. If people want to get involved, it's $175 to cover an entire day for one of our chasers. That'll be tomorrow on Election Day. So njchase.com, that's one of our big battles. And then obviously Pennsylvania, right? We're trying to make Pennsylvania a red wall. And if PA becomes the next Ohio, if PA becomes the next Florida, we make it almost impossible for the Democrats to win a national election again. So those are our two battles right now. njchase.com, that's the biggest one we're fighting. We would love to have the support of any patriots out there that can sponsor a ballot chaser for tomorrow. And here's the number, Gene. I want your audience to hear this. 64,000 New Jersey Republicans requested a mail-in ballot and have not sent it back yet.
Wow.
That is all of my focus, all of my energy. And for anyone that supports what we're doing, those are the people we are going to go pound on their door. We're going to send them text messages. We've got to bring that number down because that is the entire election. njchase.com.
All right. So there you go. You want to help. That's great. What a great thing you're doing. Cliff, let me ask you about the Pennsylvania chase and the New Jersey chase. How do you expect them to influence tomorrow's election? Do you think it's going to make a difference?
Yeah, I think in Jersey, we're already seeing it, right? So Jack Ciattarelli is about 5 points ahead of where he was in 2021, the last time he was the governor candidate. And so to be 5 points ahead, once again, I'm not saying that we're ahead of the Democrats, but when you compare it to 2021, he's doing 5 points better when it comes to vote by mail. So that was our whole objective, is to make him compete when it comes to vote by mail. And we've knocked 500,000 doors in the state of Jersey to talk to these voters that are not going to vote on Election Day. Right, Gene, I want to be clear with your audience. I'm not trying to take Election Day voters and make them vote by mail. If you vote on Election Day, that's great. Keep voting. But there's about 1 million of these voters that are registered Republican, if you look across Pennsylvania and New Jersey, that don't vote. So they're super Trump, they're super America first, they're conservative Christians, but they don't vote. And so our whole tactic, our whole plan is just out of the left's playbook, which is go to the House of people that will vote for your candidates, but they don't vote, and make them more likely to vote by getting a vote by mail ballot sent to their house.
There you go.
So that's the whole strategy. It's working in Jersey. You can see it in the numbers. And in Pennsylvania, the statewides right now with our Commonwealth and our Superior Court, I'm feeling very, very bullish that we could pull this off.
I do believe we could pull it off. What do you think, Seth? I know. Did you find your pearls yet? No? Yes?
I found them, yeah. My old transgender costume from when I was Sally. I found the pearls back there in the closet. This is my new best friend right here. This guy's a warrior. This is amazing. Listen, Napoleon, not Dynamite, but Bonaparte once said that if you want to capture a country, you don't storm the castle, you capture the countryside. And we're living in a almost rebirth of localism, and people are pulling their heads out of their rear ends. They've realized they've been standing on the shoulders of giants, and they think that they're flying, and they're realizing the whole American experiment is coming crashing to a ground because most Americans, especially evangelicals who love to sit on the sidelines and scream at Fox and CNN and do nothing, are realizing, like, I actually have to do something about this republic. I have to stop whining and complaining and get my hands dirty. Amazing, brother. Amazing work. If we can make the local church great again and focus more on what's happening in our counties and our cities and our states than what's coming out of D.C., we can turn this country around in a year or two when people start taking personal responsibility for where they live. Great job, brother.
Yeah, it's good. In fact, Dutch, it's interesting because, we've been doing, and when I was seeing Cliff, this past week, we've been doing this letter writing campaign, which has been immensely successful. Kudos to all you guys. This is the other side of that. That's why I'm so excited about us working together with the midterms, is that we're going to be able to really empower these folks to do more on the ground game there. But Dutch, even Seth actually said something I want to repeat. He alluded to the fact this is really putting the hands and feet to being a believer and actually doing more than just going to church on Sunday and Wednesday night.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Seth more. This is awesome, and I'm excited to see it. I think voices like this are making a difference. I think things are changing far too slowly, but as one who talks about government a lot on the Giving 15 posts, but am known as a preacher, teacher, a Bible teacher, the persecution, the feedback, the people in the evangelical stream that came against me 5 years ago, just disgusting. But there is far, far less of that now. More and more believers are realizing we need to have a voice. We need to get out there and make a difference. We need to vote. We need to let our voice be heard. We need to be in office. We need to do these things. I'm excited about what he's doing. I say go for it, and let's get out there and get off our lazy backsides and out of the church building and do something.
Amen.
And it starts with voting.
It's true. It does start with voting. Absolutely. All right. Let me show you, Ed. Look at this picture. This is one of our dear friends voting, our mailing letters. And Ed, that's the Newark post office right there. That's actually, I just want you to see, it's a building. See, it's nice. It's a real post office. Cliff, they accuse me.
Yours.
They accuse me of not having a real post office. But I want to get your take here, Ed. Hopefully you don't have pearls, but I want to get your take on what you're seeing this is really the hands and feet of getting stuff done, and that's what so excites me about us working together.
Yeah, it's great. By the way, Cliff, I want you to know, Gene came to me last. He was hoping to time this segment out because I'm a Eagles fan, okay? Like, I born in Westchester. I grew up in Valley Forge, sitting in Section 106 at Veterans Stadium, baby. That's where my season tickets were for the Eagles.
Okay, so, anyway, let's move on. Oh, I'm sorry, Ed. Were you talking again?
That's never happened. That's never happened to me before.
Oh, I apologize.
It's just like, how did we just get? Is that like the old where they used to put the hook around you and just drag you off stage?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Talk about Philly.
You asked me a question that I just chose not to answer. So were we talking about something about votes or something? All right. So anyway, here's the thing. This is what I love about this. So I was at an event. This is a real answer. Okay. So I was at an event. It's probably like 4 years ago, and one of my buddies was talking about politics. And he goes, you know, some people have to run. Some people have to pray for those who run. Some people have to get engaged civically. Some people have to go out and find votes. Which one are you going to do? And everyone raised their hand on number 2, which was, I'm going to be the person who prays for the person who runs. And he goes, that's not enough. He literally told everyone, that's not enough. Everyone raises their hand on number 2. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about the insufficiency of prayer. Prayer is like step number 1. Don't get me wrong. That's the first thing. But after you pray, you need to get off your rear end and go take action. And for some of you, that's running for office. And for some of you, that's activating voters. And for some of you, that's communicating a message. And what I love about what Cliff's doing is he's taking, you know, step 2, pray, and taking it into actual action. And he's driving around getting it done. And in America, you get things done on the ground. Everybody who runs politics knows there's a ground game, and I love it. And I love the strategy where they're going for people who've already got a ballot but haven't voted. So if you're looking for a place to put your money and you want to invest in a winner that's going to get things done, I say you help him out, man. I'm like, come on, man. We got nothing. We have only things to gain. And I think Pennsylvania is a great example of that, man. Look what happened a year and a half ago, or a year ago, when that state turned completely upside down.
Yeah,
so anyway,
absolutely.
Virtual high five. You're doing awesome, man. I love what you're doing. Just like go for it.
Yeah. Amen. All right, let's talk. I want to get you to weigh in here, Cliff, on New Jersey. Let me show you this Eric Doherty post. Breaking historic first. All Lakewood, New Jersey Jewish councils endorse Jack Ciattarelli in the unison for governor when they, in the past, supported Democrats. Huge turnout. 65,000 voters live here for the first time ever. The Jewish councils for the local towns surrounding Lakewood, including Toms River, Jackson, Howell, and Manchester, announced a united endorsement for Jack Ciattarelli for governor, per the Lakewood Scoop. Every voter counts. What do you think? This is a big deal. What's your take here on New Jersey going forward? Cliff, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, look, if you would have told me 6 months ago that this would have been a dead heat of a race, you know, I would have thought you were crazy. I mean, there were about 10 different things that had to happen, both for Jack or against Cheryl, for him to have a shot, and they've all happened. Right. I'm not here to promise you he's going to win, but I'm here to tell you New Jersey is competitive. You're seeing all of these Democrats lining up. You're seeing endorsement from Democrats that never would cross over to endorse a Republican running for governor. And I think what that's showing you, and by the way, let me just make this point. When you compare that to what's happening in New York, if it doesn't tell you that New York's about to elect a socialist and Jersey's potentially going to elect Jack Ciattarelli, that is huge. Right? Because it shows you the working class party, the people that are actual, you know, blue collar workers, they're with the Republican Party. The elitist bubble of New York City is electing a socialist. And so I just think Jack winning gives such a great dichotomy. But yeah, we're seeing all these coalitions come together. We're fixing the vote by mail problem. And there's one thing left to do. We need every single Republican in New Jersey to show up tomorrow.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
they do that, we win.
All right, let me show you this, some B-roll of some of that, what I just read. They were showing up yesterday, coming out to vote. I mean, look at this. Talk about the Jewish community showing up. This was massive, massive as it keeps going. You know, Seth, this is what it really looks like when people get motivated and they get involved. I mean, look, they all came together in unified force to show up, and I bet you nobody there is wearing pearls. Your thoughts, Seth?
Oh, Gene, you're my favorite Christian nationalist. Cliff's point was very profound and simple, wasn't it? That the working class, they actually are their head is not in the clouds and their hands are in the dirt, and there's a sense of humility that comes along with hard work and using your hands, because the technocrats, the globalists, the modernists who make oodles of money by sitting in chairs at desks, never have, it's only traveling in order to make sales. They never actually have to use very many muscles. Now, I'm not saying that, like, if you don't have a muscular job, you're not a good person. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, like, we're in a relatively new era in world history where so many jobs don't require, like, grit, muscles, calluses, and dirty hands. And so we've built these spires into the sky. We sit up in the 110th floor. We constantly looking down on humanity, looking up at ourselves. And we've convinced ourselves there's almost nothing we can't do. You can thank Herbert Spencer for this. Largely, The Myth of Progress, beginning of the 20th century, translates Darwin's sort of, survival of the fittest, the perfectibility of mankind. And he translates that to sort of social progress, that there's nothing we can't do socially. And so we've been living under this myth of progress, that there's nothing we can't do, that there's a perfectible aspect of humankind and human nature and the world that we live in. And we think we're gods. And the New York City elite, those kinds of people, they don't have to deal with the same kind of real life difficulties that many of the working class do, but it's also convinced them that there's nothing we can't do. Whereas the working class, they actually deal with reality. They plant stuff, they grow stuff, they grunt to get the work done.
Yeah.
And it has this humbling effect of, like, wait a second, we're not gods, and there's some things we can't do. That dichotomy between New Jersey and New York, profound, Cliff.
All right, let me show you New York. It's John Stossel's report on Mamdani, New York. Watch. That was Mamdani. He was frozen. He was at shock because he heard Seth had pearls. Have we got that at all, guys? We don't? Let's go to the Winsome Sears closing arguments, win with Winsome. Watch. It's not playing. Ed, what did you do? It's the Philly hat.
That's what you get for taking me off. That's what happens. That's what happens. See, I'm just saying, I didn't make the rules.
All right, so listen, let me go back to Cliff here, because Cliff, let me tell you one thing I was going to bring up that I think is so encouraging, especially to our audience, is that you work heavily with our friends over at Turning Point, and you actually are able to pull in a younger group of people to go out there and knock on doors. How is it affecting that age group doing what you're doing?
So every year we hire about 800 to 1,000 door knockers across the different programs and projects that we do. And probably about half of them come from the Turning Point pipeline. And that's why back in January of 2024, Charlie Kirk at Turning Point, he had announced that they were going to do Arizona and Wisconsin. And he had kind of encouraged me, him and his team were the ones that encouraged me and said, Cliff, listen, your home state of Pennsylvania, you knock all these doors. How do we get you to run the chase for Trump? And look, I got to give Turning Point so much credit. Not only do they help us with recruiting people, but we hire based on ideology, right? If we hire based on, people wanting to make money, we need true believers at the door. And so that's one of the things we've set up, is not just having that pipeline from Turning Point to us, but then once people do a full program, right? Once they're on the ground, we call them deployments. Once they've completed a deployment, we'll funnel them into other ways that they can help professionally. Maybe it's working for a think tank. Maybe it's working for an elected official that's a patriot. But that's what this is all about. Right now on the ground, 105 patriots in New Jersey, njchase.com if folks want to check it out, see what we're doing. But it's about not just the experience, it's building culture.
That's
and
wonderful.
It's going and doing the work that nobody wants to do.
Yeah, it's great. All right, let me interrupt you, because I got to get this Mamdani clip in. Here he is. We think the machine will work now. Mamdani, New York. Watch.
I will be your Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City.
Zohran Mamdani will probably be my next mayor. He's popular.
Winning more primary votes than any mayoral candidate in New York City history.
People like him because he's good looking, charismatic.
Chop, chop, chop it up. Chop, 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 chop it up.
The media can't get enough of him.
And joining me now is Zohran Mamdani.
They also like him because he's
a proud democratic socialist.
A democratic socialist, like AOC.
I am here loud and proud to rank Zohran Mamdani #1 for mayor of New York City.
They and most of the media have something in common.
Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism.
I don't usually cover local politics, but I'll make an exception for Mamdani because what he believes is what so many privileged young people believe. And these socialist ideas are just stupid.
I think you've been watching John Kennedy. What do you think, Seth?
I love Stossel. It's just stupid. But by the way, what is democratic socialism? Is that like icing on a turd? Like somehow it's better? I'm still trying to work that one out, Dutch. Maybe you can help me out.
Okay, Dutch, since Seth is now interviewing you, you know what let me give you your thoughts on that.
I don't have a response to him, although I think it was a very good answer. But I would say this, when I think of Mamdani and what's happening in New York, I'm not sure who said it. I think maybe Charlie Kirk did. Immigration without assimilation is an invasion. And we're experiencing that now. We've allowed these people in without them wanting to be Americans, without teaching them who we are, what we stand for, feed them lies for history, and we're now paying the price for that. And we have to do this massive effort to turn things around, re-educate, transform. Some of it's going to come through pain for the people of New York, for example.
That's true. All right, well, this came in right before we went to air. Fox News reports Trump backs Cuomo, threatens to cut federal funding if communist Mamdani wins the New York City mayoral race. What he's saying, it's highly unlikely I'll be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home because of the fact that as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. That was his post. Ed, I mean, does this help or hurt?
I mean, it's going to help. It's going to help Cuomo. It's interesting. Your governor, Gene, posted that any New Yorker that leaves, because after this election, is going to get 100% tariffed, which I'm pretty sure he was joking about, but was fun to read on Twitter. And I'll just say, for those of you who like socialism, just ask someone who's done it. I have a friend of mine who used to be prime minister of Ethiopia. When he was prime minister, he was a socialist communist. He's a Christian now. And his words for the socialist system, I can't even say on the air. He dislikes it so much. He tried it for 3 years, didn't work. It's not a system that works.
It's not a system that works. All right, let's wrap it up. Okay, Cliff, I'm going to give you the first 20 seconds. Give me your final thoughts. 20. Go.
We're going big in New Jersey, njchase.com. Like I said, we've solved the vote by mail problem, but we've got to have every Republican turn out. You want to sponsor somebody, njchase.com. All that money will go towards Election Day operations tomorrow. Appreciate you, Gene, and the panel.
Yeah, thank you, Cliff. All right, Seth, your thoughts?
The left doesn't care about anything that they care about. Muslims are totally down with shoving homosexuals off of buildings and hanging them in the public square. So the LGBTQ rights group, the whole left, the Democrat, they're all behind a Muslim communist now. What does that tell you? It's time for the church to wake up.
Yeah, and so I apologize, Seth. I didn't even get to the Death Con that you, Life or Death Con, not Death Con. You guys got that website put up there. It says got a great event. I promise there's no pearls involved. There is Life or Death Con. I've said before you, life and death. They can find out more about it at the website, lifeordeathcon.com. Do that.
Thank you.
Find out more. We need to keep rallying together. Thank you for watching tonight. Thank you for being with us. And thank you to Dutch, of course, Ed, Cliff, Gordon Robertson, and Seth Gruber. Thank you for being a part of what God's doing. We'll see you next time. All right, so here on the Flashpoint Network, you've seen a lot of programs over the last 5+ years. And in that, you've seen how you and I, when we work together, things do change. In the show tonight, you saw the video of all the Jewish people lined up there to go in unity to go vote. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's one thing we've learned over the last several years is how impactful it is when we come together. So thank you for coming together with Flashpoint. I need you to share this program. Share it on everywhere that you've got the ability to share it. Send it to your pastor, especially if he's woke, that he needs to watch this. And send it to your family members that maybe you don't feel comfortable about saying things. Let me say it. Let Seth and Dutch and Ed say it. and we will see things change in America. Make sure you go vote tomorrow. If you live, wherever you live, there's a lot of election, 22,000 schools.